Listen carefully, gentlemen. What if I told you there's one overlooked spot on your body, a spot most men never even think about, that holds the secret to turning back the clock on your erections? I'm not talking about pills, surgeries, or gimmicks. I'm talking about a place so powerful that, when massaged with nothing more than a drop of castor oil, it can make your penis feel like it did decades ago, full, firm, and alive. This may sound shocking, but the truth is, your body is still capable of performing like it once did, if you learn how to wake up this forgotten control center. My name is Dr. Mohit Khera. I'm a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men over 50 and 60 reclaim their confidence, their strength, and their intimacy. I've sat across from thousands of men who believed their best days were behind them, only to see them restore what they thought was lost. Here's what most men never realize. The key to stronger, longer-lasting erections isn't always where you think. It isn't only about testosterone shots, blue pills, or endless exercises. The real solution lies in a tiny area hidden in plain sight, connected to the nerves, arteries, and muscles that determine whether your body can perform when you need it most. And here's my promise to you. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly how to use castor oil on this spot in a simple 2-minute ritual to reignite blood flow, nerve sensitivity, and natural function right at home. Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly where this spot is, why it works, and how you can begin tonight. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to hit that button and turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss future advice designed to help men over 50 restore strength, confidence, and intimacy. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 so I know how to make these videos even more helpful for you. Now, before I reveal the exact spot and how to use castor oil, we need to understand what really happens inside a man's body after 50. Because once you see why erections change with age, you'll finally understand why this simple technique works so powerfully. 1. What really happens to erections after 50? When I sit across from men in my office, men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, one of the first things I often hear is this: "Doc, I just don't get those strong erections anymore. What's wrong with me?" And I can see the frustration in their eyes, the quiet worry behind the question. They're not just asking about their bodies, they're asking if a vital part of their manhood is slipping away for good. Let me tell you something important. If this sounds like you are not broken. What you're experiencing is not weakness. It's simply the natural way the body changes with age. And the good news is, once you understand what's happening, you can take steps to turn it around. Here's the truth. Erections are not a simple on and off switch. They're a carefully coordinated effort between your brain, your hormones, your blood vessels, and your nerves. When you're younger, all those systems work together effortlessly. Blood rushes in fast, nerves fire like lightning, testosterone surges strong, and your pelvic muscles clamp down tight to hold everything in place. But after 50, that smooth performance begins to slow. It's not your imagination, it's biology. Your blood vessels, once elastic and flexible, become a little stiffer with age. That means they don't open as wide or as quickly. So when you need that surge of blood for a firm erection, the response is weaker and slower. Testosterone, the hormone that fuels your sex drive and energy, starts to decline steadily, about 1% every year after 40. By the time you're 60, you might be working with 20 or 30% less than you had in your prime. And that drop affects everything from your desire to your staying power. Nerve endings too begin to lose their sensitivity. What once felt electric may now feel dull or muted. That's why some men tell me, "I can still get an erection, but it doesn't feel the same." And then there are your pelvic floor muscles. These deep muscles are like the hidden clamps that keep blood trapped in your penis once it arrives. If they weaken, as they often do when they're not exercised, the result is softer erections that fade more quickly than you'd like. Put all of this together, and it's no wonder so many men over 50 notice changes in their performance. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. None of this means the end of your sex life. Your body is more resilient than you realize. Even in your 60s and 70s, It's capable of responding, healing, and bouncing back if you give it the right signals. I've watched men who felt hopeless rediscover morning erections they thought were gone forever. I've seen couples reconnect in ways they hadn't in decades. So if you've been blaming yourself, stop. This isn't about failure, it's about biology, and biology can be retrained. Which brings us to something surprising. A natural, time-tested remedy that can send those signals directly to the very systems we just talked about. And it starts with a humble oil that's probably sitting on the shelf of your local store right now. Curious? Let's talk about why castor oil is the key. 2. Why castor oil is the key. I still remember the first time I suggested castor oil to one of my older patients. He looked at me with surprise, almost disbelief, and said, "Doc, isn't that what my grandmother used for stomach aches?" He wasn't wrong. For generations, castor oil has been tucked away in bathroom cabinets, often thought of as an old-fashioned remedy with little place in modern medicine. But the truth is, this humble oil holds remarkable potential, especially for men over 50 who want to restore strength, circulation, and vitality. Castor oil is unique because of one powerful compound inside it called ricinoleic acid. Think of it as nature's quiet healer. Unlike many oils that simply coat the skin, castor oil penetrates deeply, soaking into the tissues that need it most. And once it's there, it gets to work in 3 ways that are particularly valuable for sexual health. First, it fights inflammation. Inflammation is a silent thief in the body. Over time, it tightens muscles, stiffens tissues, and slows recovery. If you felt tension in your lower back, stiffness in your hips, or a kind of dull ache in your pelvic area, chances are inflammation is part of the story. When castor oil seeps into those tissues, it calms the fire, allowing the muscles to relax and heal. For men struggling with weaker erections, that relaxation is a game changer. It helps open the pathway for better blood flow where you need it most. Second, castor oil stimulates circulation. You can think of it as a gentle nudge to your blood vessels. With age, arteries lose their flexibility, but massaging castor oil into the skin encourages those vessels to open wider, welcoming more oxygen-rich blood. And blood is life when it comes to erections. Without it, nothing works. With it, everything changes. I've had men come back after just a few weeks of consistent use and tell me they felt a new warmth, a pulse of energy, even a sense of aliveness in the area that had been missing for years. That's the power of circulation. Third, castor oil activates your lymphatic system. Most men don't think about this system, but it's like the body's quiet janitor. It clears away waste, toxins, and buildup that can make tissues sluggish and slow to respond. By stimulating lymphatic flow, castor oil helps your body stay clean and efficient, which is crucial for healing and performance. Imagine clearing out the cobwebs in an old engine. Once it's free of clutter, it can run smoothly again. That's what's happening in your body when the lymphatic system gets a boost. Now, I want you to see how all 3 of these effects work together. Less inflammation means more relaxation. Better circulation means more fuel reaching your erectile tissue. A stronger lymphatic system means fresher, healthier function. Put them together, and you have a natural, side effect-free way to reignite your body's ability to perform. And the best part? You don't need a prescription. You don't need a pharmacy. All you need is a small bottle of cold-pressed, unrefined castor oil and a few minutes of your time each evening. But here's the catch. It's not just about the oil. It's about where you put it. There is one spot on your body that most men ignore their entire lives, a spot that controls blood flow, nerve sensitivity, and the very muscle that locks in your erections. And once you learn to target this forgotten area with castor oil, everything begins to change. Let me show you exactly where it is. 3. The secret spot most men ignore. Over the years, I've had countless conversations with men who told me, "Doc, I've tried pills, I've tried exercises, I've even tried gadgets, and nothing seems to bring me back to where I want to be." And every time I lean in and say, "That's because you've been ignoring the most powerful spot on your body." They look puzzled. Some laugh nervously. Others raise their eyebrows as if I'm about to reveal something shocking. And in a way, I am, because the answer isn't in your penis itself, but in a hidden area just beneath it. This spot is called the perineum. It's that soft stretch of skin between your scrotum and your anus. Most men never give it a second thought, but what lies just under that skin is nothing short of mission control for your erections. Right there sits a muscle called the bulbospongiosus. You may have never heard of it, but this muscle acts like a clamp, trapping blood inside your penis to keep it firm. When it's working properly, your erections are strong and long-lasting. When it weakens, blood slips away, and so does your confidence. But that's not all. Running through this small area are branches of the pudendal nerve. These are the very pathways that carry pleasure signals from your penis to your brain. As you age, these nerves can become sluggish and sensations fade. By stimulating the perineum, you wake them up, re-establishing connections that have been quiet for too long. And then there are the arteries, tiny but vital blood vessels that feed oxygen-rich blood straight to the erectile chambers. Imagine a control panel where the muscle, the nerves, and the arteries all converge. That's your perineum. Now, I know some men feel hesitant when they first hear this. They tell me it sounds strange, even uncomfortable, to pay attention to that area. But when I explain the science behind it, when I describe how massaging the perineum improves muscle tone, awakens nerves, and encourages those arteries to open wide, the hesitation begins to fade. They start to see it not as something odd, but as something empowering, an overlooked key to reclaiming their strength. I'll never forget one patient in his late 60s who finally tried it. He came back after a few weeks, sat down in my office, and with a quiet smile said, "Doc, I feel like my body finally remembered what to do." That's the power of this forgotten spot. It's not about gimmicks. It's about working with the systems you already have, right at the place where they come together. So here's the takeaway. The perineum isn't just skin. It's the central hub of your sexual performance. And when you combine the natural healing properties of castor oil with direct stimulation of this area, you're sending a powerful signal to your body. Relax, open up, wake up, and perform. The only question left is how to do it the right way. Because technique matters. Pressure, warmth, timing. These small details make all the difference between a simple rub and a truly restorative ritual. And in the next part, I'll guide you step by step on exactly how to perform the castor oil massage for the best results. 4. How to perform the castor oil massage. When I explain this technique to men in my office, I can almost see the doubt on their faces. They lean back in the chair, arms crossed, wondering if something so simple could really make a difference. And yet, time and again, those same men return weeks later, often with a look of quiet amazement, telling me that for the first time in years, they woke up with a strong, lasting erection. The reason is not complicated. It's because they finally gave their body the direct care it was craving, and they did it in a way that works with nature, not against it. The process itself is surprisingly straightforward, but I want you to approach it with respect. Think of it not as a quick trick, but as a small ritual. 5 minutes of your day devoted to restoring something deeply personal. It begins with a teaspoon of pure, cold-pressed castor oil. Quality matters here, because unrefined oil holds on to the healing compounds that do the work. Warm it gently by rubbing it between your palms, just enough so that when it touches your skin, it feels soothing, never sharp or hot. That warmth signals your tissues to relax, preparing them to receive what comes next. Now, position yourself in a way that feels comfortable, perhaps lying back or sitting slightly reclined, so you can easily reach the perineum without strain. Place your fingers on that soft area between the scrotum and anus, and begin with slow, steady movements. Don't rush. Don't press so hard that you create discomfort, but don't be so light that you only graze the surface. The goal is to feel the muscle beneath the skin, to engage with the very structure that helps trap blood in your penis. Small circles, gentle strokes, even just steady pressure held for a few seconds, all of these can help. 2 to 3 minutes is enough to signal your body, but give those minutes your full attention. As you do this, I encourage you to breathe deeply. Inhale through your nose, let your abdomen rise, then exhale slowly. You'll find that your breath helps release hidden tension in your pelvic floor, making the massage more effective. And when you've finished, take a warm, damp towel and place it over the area for about 15 minutes. That combination of moist heat and oil drives the healing compounds deeper, opening blood vessels, soothing nerves, and amplifying the benefits. I often recommend men try this routine in the evening, when the day is behind them and the body is winding down. At night, your system naturally shifts into repair mode, and the castor oil can work without interruption. Some men notice changes within a few days, a warmth, a tingling, a sense of aliveness returning. For others, the improvements build gradually over 2 to 4 weeks. Both are normal. The key is consistency. Night after night, you are teaching your body how to perform again. And here's the beauty of it. This ritual does more than prepare you for intimacy. It reconnects you with your own body. It reminds you that strength and pleasure are still possible, even after 60. But what should you realistically expect to feel as the days go by? That's the question we'll answer next, because the results may surprise you more than you think. 5. What to expect. One of the first questions men ask me after I explain the castor oil massage is this: "Doc, how soon will I notice a difference?" And I always pause before I answer, because I want them to understand something important. This is not like swallowing a pill and waiting for a chemical reaction. This is about retraining your body, waking up systems that have been asleep for years, and restoring function that was built into you all along. Every man's timeline is a little different, but the journey often begins with subtle, almost quiet changes that build into something much greater. For some, the very first week brings a gentle warmth in the pelvic area, a sensation of circulation stirring, almost like a light switch has been flipped back on. Others describe a faint tingling, a kind of aliveness they hadn't felt in years. It's not dramatic at first, but it's real. And that small spark is often enough to remind you that your body hasn't forgotten how to respond. It just needed a nudge. As the days turn into weeks, those small changes usually grow stronger. Men often tell me that their morning erections begin to return, or that they last longer during intimacy without fading so quickly. Some notice more sensitivity, the kind that makes pleasure feel sharper, brighter, more immediate. And with these physical shifts comes something even more powerful: confidence. There's nothing quite like the relief of knowing that your body is still capable, that you can still rise to the moment when it matters. I've even had patients share unexpected benefits. A man in his 70s once told me that after a month of consistent massage, not only were his erections stronger, but his lower back felt looser, and the nagging tension in his hips had eased. Another said he was surprised to notice better bladder control, fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, and a new sense of calm in his pelvic area. It makes sense, because all of these muscles and nerves are connected. When you heal one part, you often improve others as well. Now, it's important to set realistic expectations. Not every man will feel a dramatic change overnight. Some will see steady progress over 2 to 4 weeks, and for a few, the improvements may take longer. That's perfectly normal. Think of it like training a muscle you haven't used in years. The first workouts feel small, almost insignificant, but over time the strength builds, and before long the difference is undeniable. Patience and consistency are your best allies. And remember this: what you're doing is not just physical, it's emotional too. Each session is a message to yourself that you haven't given up, that you still care about your body, your intimacy, and your quality of life. That mindset alone can shift the way you feel about aging, about sexuality, and about your own worth as a man. So yes, expect change. Expect progress. Expect your body to surprise you in ways you may not have thought possible. But don't stop there, because while the massage is powerful on its own, the results grow even stronger when you support it with the right daily habits. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly which simple changes can take this practice to the next level. 6. Supporting habits that make the massage more effective. Over the years, I've noticed something fascinating. The men who see the biggest improvements from the castor oil massage are the ones who don't just stop there. They make small, simple changes in their daily routines. Changes that amplify the effects of the massage and help their bodies perform at a higher level. It's like planting a seed. The massage is the seed itself, but the habits are the sunlight, the water, and the soil that allow it to grow into something strong and lasting. The first habit is hydration. I know it sounds basic, but I can't tell you how many older men walk into my office mildly dehydrated. Without enough water, your blood thickens, circulation slows, and tissues dry out. Erections depend on blood flow, and blood flow depends on hydration. When you drink enough water throughout the day, you give your vessels the fluidity they need to deliver oxygen and nutrients right where you need them. I've had men tell me that after simply increasing their daily water intake, they noticed a clear difference in their sexual performance. It's that powerful. Food is another pillar. The body responds to what you put in it. Leafy greens and beets, for example, are natural boosters of nitric oxide, the very compound that relaxes blood vessels and allows them to open wide. When those vessels widen, more blood rushes into your penis, creating fuller, firmer erections. Add to that healthy fats, salmon, walnuts, olive oil, and you're providing the raw materials your body uses to make testosterone and keep your arteries flexible. It's not about a fad diet, it's about giving your body the building blocks it craves to function like it should. And then there's movement. I often recommend pelvic floor exercises, commonly known as Kegels. These aren't just for women. Done properly, they strengthen the very muscles that hold blood inside the penis during an erection. Think of it like upgrading the clamp that keeps everything locked in place. It takes only a few minutes a day, but the payoff can be tremendous. Combine this with light activity, like walking or stretching, and you're also supporting circulation and lowering stress, two critical factors in sexual health. Speaking of stress, let me say this. Stress is one of the most underestimated killers of intimacy. When your body is flooded with stress hormones, your blood vessels tighten, your desire diminishes, and your ability to respond fades. That's why I urge men to carve out time each day, even just 10 minutes, to slow down and breathe. Deep breathing, meditation, or simply sitting quietly with no distractions gives your nervous system a chance to reset, and when your mind relaxes, your body follows. I share these habits not to overwhelm you, but to empower you, because the truth is, they're simple. Drink water, eat real foods, move your body, calm your mind. When combined with the Castor oil massage, they create a synergy that multiplies results. You're no longer just treating the symptom, you're transforming the system. But before you rush to make changes, there's one more thing I need to share. While the massage and these habits are safe for most men, there are important precautions to keep in mind, and understanding those safety notes will ensure you stay on the path to healing without any setbacks. Let's talk about that next. 7. Safety notes. One of the things I've learned in my 3 decades of practice is that men over 50 are often eager to try new methods once they realize there's hope. And that's a wonderful thing because it shows you haven't given up on yourself. But with that eagerness comes responsibility. Whenever you introduce something new, even something as natural and safe as castor oil, it's important to be mindful of how you use it. Safety is not about fear, it's about respect. Respect for your body, respect for your age, and respect for the healing process you're inviting back into your life. The first and most important guideline is the quality of the oil. Castor oil comes in many forms, but not all of them are created equal. If you want the true benefits, the anti-inflammatory effects, the improved circulation, the activation of your lymphatic system, you need to choose a pure, cold-pressed, unrefined variety. That's the oil that retains the healing compounds you're counting on. Cheaper, processed oils may be stripped of those natural properties, and some even contain additives that your skin doesn't need. When it comes to something this personal, don't cut corners. Second, never apply castor oil to broken or irritated skin. If you have a rash, a cut, or any kind of irritation in the perineal area, wait until it heals before starting the massage. This area is delicate, and your goal is comfort and healing, not discomfort or aggravation. I've had patients tell me they were so eager to begin that they ignored a small irritation, and it only slowed their progress. Patience, in this case, is part of the treatment. Third, if you're living with chronic conditions, such as high blood pressure, heart disease, or circulatory problems, and especially if you're taking medications, It's always wise to check with your physician before adding anything new to your routine. Even natural remedies can interact in subtle ways, and your doctor can give you the reassurance you need. I've worked with many men who incorporated the massage successfully, but we did it together with open communication so that everything was safe and sustainable. Another important note: listen to your body. If during or after the massage you feel unusual pain, sudden discomfort, or anything that feels off, don't ignore it. Stop, take note, and if it persists, seek medical advice. Most men will never run into these issues, but staying attuned to your body is part of regaining control. After all, this journey isn't just about erections, it's about awareness, connection, and health. I want you to think of safety not as a barrier, but as a foundation. By respecting these simple guidelines, you give yourself the best chance to succeed. And when you succeed safely, the benefits last longer. You can embrace the improvements without worrying that you've taken a wrong turn. So now that you know how to protect yourself, let's talk about why this effort is worth it. Because what you're really investing in isn't just performance, it's confidence, intimacy, and the power to surprise yourself again. In the next section, I want to leave you with a message of hope that ties everything together and reminds you exactly why this journey matters. 8. Final message of hope. I want to pause here and speak to you not just as a physician, but as someone who has listened to thousands of men over the years share their fears, their frustrations, and their quiet hopes. One of the hardest things about getting older is the feeling that your body is slipping away from you, piece by piece. The energy isn't the same, the confidence isn't the same, and in those private moments, when your erection isn't what it used to be, it can feel like you've lost a part of yourself. I know how heavy that can be, because I've seen it in your eyes and I've heard it in your voices. But I want you to know this: age is not the end of your story. Your body is not finished. It still holds the ability to respond, to recover, and to surprise you, sometimes in ways you never expected. The castor oil massage we've been talking about is not magic. It doesn't turn back the clock to 20 overnight. What it does is awaken what's already inside you. It taps into the muscles that still remember how to hold blood. It stirs the nerves that can still carry signals of pleasure. It nourishes the blood vessels that can still open and deliver strength. When you give your body that gentle encouragement, you remind it of its own resilience. And when the body remembers, the results can feel nothing short of miraculous. I've had men in their late 60s come back to me with a grin they hadn't worn in years, saying, "Doc, I didn't think this was possible." I've seen couples hold hands in my office, grateful tears in their eyes, because intimacy had returned to their lives after decades of struggle. These moments remind me why I chose this profession in the first place. It's not just about erections, it's about connection, confidence, and the joy of being fully alive at any age. So if you've been carrying doubt, I'm asking you to set it down. If you've been telling yourself that decline is inevitable, I'm inviting you to challenge that belief, because your body has more to give than you realize. All it needs is the right signal, the right care, and the right patience. The castor oil massage is a tool, a simple one, but it's also a symbol that you haven't given up, that you're still willing to invest in yourself, and that you believe your story isn't finished yet. And let me leave you with this thought. Sometimes the smallest actions, done consistently, create the biggest changes. A few minutes a night, a drop of oil, a moment of care, that's all it takes to begin. And from there, the possibilities open wide. Now, as we move toward the close, I want to bring everything together. Because beyond the science, beyond the steps, beyond the safety, there's one final message I need to share with you, a message that could change the way you see yourself, your body, and your future. Let's talk about that in the conclusion. Conclusion. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to bring everything together and remind you of the bigger picture. What we've explored is not just a technique, not just a routine, but a way of giving your body the chance to function as it was designed to. We began by understanding what really happens after 50. The changes in blood vessels, nerves, hormones, and muscles that make erections harder to achieve and maintain. We saw that none of this is your fault, but rather the natural course of aging. Yet natural does not mean permanent decline. Then we uncovered the power of castor oil, a simple, natural substance that has been used for centuries to heal and restore. Its ability to fight inflammation, improve circulation, and awaken the lymphatic system makes it uniquely effective for the very challenges older men face. And by applying it to the perineum, that hidden control center of blood flow, nerves, and muscle, we tap directly into the systems that drive performance and pleasure. The massage itself is simple, but in its simplicity lies its power. Done consistently, it retrains your body, strengthens your foundation, and restores confidence. We also talked about what you can expect, how the changes often begin quietly, with warmth, tingling, or morning erections returning, and how they grow steadily into stronger function, better stamina, and deeper intimacy. And we discussed the importance of supporting habits, hydration, nourishing foods, movement, and stress relief. These daily choices amplify the effects of the massage and create long-lasting improvements. All along the way, we emphasized safety, choosing high-quality oil, listening to your body, and consulting your doctor if you live with chronic conditions. But most importantly, I hope you heard the deeper message. This is not just about erections. This is about hope, about reclaiming the part of yourself that may have felt lost, about refusing to accept decline as inevitable. Your body is capable of healing. It is capable of responding. It is capable of surprising you. I've seen it happen too many times to doubt it. So here's my invitation. Don't wait. Try this castor oil massage. Support it with healthy habits. Give yourself the chance to feel alive, connected, and confident again. You've carried so much in your life: responsibilities, challenges, victories. Now it's time to carry a new belief that your best years of intimacy and strength can still lie ahead.